Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday and welcome to Friendly Differences Podcast 2.0. I am your outspoken host, Dread Empath, and with me as always.
Solid Blue Sister.
Now, once again, I want to thank everyone for being here this Saturday. This is a very special Saturday for me because we are going to be focusing on my personal hero, Malcolm X. Solid, how are you?
I am good. I am good. And Malcolm X, it is fitting that we do him. And today is his birthday, I do believe.
No, today is February 17th. Malcolm X
So,
was born May 19th, 1925. He died February 21st,
okay.
1965, just
All
three
right.
months shy of his 40th birthday.
All right. Okay. I got those dates mixed up. But he is a fitting
Mhm.
person to talk about because he is the one that people don't want to teach. They don't want to teach. I mean, I learned about Malcolm X. I heard about Malcolm X growing up. Um, the Nation of Islam is in Chicago. Um, you know, saw a lot of Muslims. Just I mean, I grew up, in that
Yes,
time, whatever, and Malcolm X was a very, very powerful person, and that's one reason why today, especially someone like DeSantis, would not want to talk about him or
oh, I
teach
see.
him. He's the black man white folks were afraid of.
Absolutely. Um, do you remember how you came to learn about Malcolm X? Because I'll tell you how I came to learn and how he became my hero. But please, do you remember how? Did you
How
ever?
I came to learn about Malcolm X?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't say meet him.
always through my parents. My parents were very much into teaching my sister and I Black history. I mean, we
Okay.
and by my mother being a teacher, who used to produce Black history uh, shows, whatever, and they were on TV. Um, you know, we learned. I mean, we learned about Black people.
Okay. Um, I learned about Malcolm X from my father when I was about 7 years old. Growing up in Newark, New Jersey, we used to have street film festivals. So my dad took me to one, and they just so happened to be showing Malcolm X on, for the film festival, and my father was explaining to me that this was Malcolm X. He said not the actor, of course, who was Denzel Washington, who can we say should have won an award, but anyway. Um, I remember being 7 years old and saying, wow. And because I was brought up Islamically, he was Muslim as well. So that scored extra points with me. And being from New Jersey, being so close to New York, the Nation of Islam, all of it, you know, saw it all. And I really just admired I admired his fire, his vigor. He wasn't afraid of anything. He wasn't afraid of anyone. He said once, "I live like a man who died 20 years ago." He didn't fear death. He knew death was inevitable, especially for a man like him. So Malcolm X was very instrumental in who y'all see today. You know, with the
Well, do you want to get started with one of the videos that we need to talk about? Because this is, I think, another reason why a lot of white people don't want to talk about Malcolm X.
Question: do you hate all white people?
I don't think it's a fair question. The white man doesn't even come into my attitude. Mr. Muhammad teaches us to love our own kind and let the white man take care of himself. For a white man today, sir, after kidnapping millions of black people from Africa, stripping them of all human characteristics and relegating them to the role of chattel or cattle or animals, commodity, merchandise that could be bought and sold at will. And then 100 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, using every type of deceptive method to further us into slavery, called second-class citizenship, I think that it would take a whole lot of nerve for white people today to ask Negroes, do they hate them?
Solid.
I think that Malcolm made a very good point. It's like, it isn't fair. Look at, again, something that white society does not want to do. Look at the history, what was there and how we got here. So the question is not fair. Actually, the question should be, do you hate black people? Because
True.
What reason did we give you to hate us? We didn't give you a reason. We were minding our own business. You came and took us. You came and took us, and you raped us, lynched us, broke us. You tore us away from our families. You denied us. You consistently had your knee on our neck. So the question what he said was true. It's not, why do we hate white people? Do you hate black people, and why?
I feel like I of course I agree with him saying it's not a fair question. And I think further down in that interview, he said that's like the rapist asking the rape victim, do you hate me?
Right.
Why shouldn't I? And I think that it was very bogus for that reporter to ask him that, but Malcolm always got accused of being racist, anti-white, anti-Semitic, and it was because they compared him to Martin Luther King so much. And one of the reasons why they didn't like Malcolm is because Malcolm was not preaching turn the other cheek, love your enemy. He said, no, we are not violent people, but if we are met with violence, we are going to defend ourselves. The minute of people stop being docile, they become dangerous to the oppressor because they will rise up. So I think that it's so funny how history just continues to repeat itself, because I always get into this argument about whether or not black people can be racist. People, white people in particular, trying to make it seem as though because we're proud of who we are, that we're anti-white. And I said, no, if you had the oppression that black people had, you would be proud of your heritage as well. And they never teach about Malcolm X, because Malcolm X was seen as a radical.
Okay, so let me ask you this, since you said that when black people stop being docile, they become afraid, or that's the person you need to look out for. That's the person you potentially have
Absolutely.
to kill. So fast forward 150 years or so, take Nat Turner from 1831, put him in 1960s. Do you see him being Malcolm X? And do you see Malcolm X being Nat Turner if you were to switch those places? The same people, they're still Malcolm X and still Nat Turner, but they're just in different eras. Do you see Malcolm X being a slave, a literate slave, because Nat Turner was a literate slave? Do you think that he would have got everybody together to rebel against the slave owners?
I believe so. You would have to look at both the histories of both men. Nat Turner was taken into the master's quarters and taught how to read the Bible. Malcolm started out trusting white people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though white people tore apart his family, he dated white women. He dated white women. He robbed and stole with white men. So I could see that, because in order to get to your enemy, you have to get close to them. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So they would have been they both would have been able to do the same thing in both eras.
Okay. So you see Malcolm doing what Nat
Mhm.
Turner did. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. So let's talk about the oppressors.
I don't think when a man is being criminally treated that some criminal has the right to tell that man what tactics to use to get the criminal off his back. When a criminal starts misusing me, I am going to use whatever necessary to get that criminal off my back.
There you got it. Think about it. Okay. Yes. You see, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I love watching Malcolm. I do. I do. I've listened to his speeches, everything. But think about what he said. You don't have the right to tell. I mean, and when he was saying, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get this criminal off my back, right? That's why for the longest, he didn't disrespect Martin Luther King, but I don't think that he respected the message. You follow me? Because you're telling people who are getting dogs sicked on them, who are getting hit with hoses, you're telling them to go to church and pray for these people? They've been praying since slavery. Praying is not doing anything. No, you need to teach them how to defend themselves, because what we continue, so shall what we allow, so shall continue. So yes, defend yourself. Meet violence with violence. I'm all for that message. I was always for Malcolm and Nat, because they don't understand. The oppressor never gives the oppressed their freedom. You usually have to take it. There has to be bloodshed, usually theirs, for them to understand that.
But what do you do if the enemy doesn't see themselves as the enemy? Because that's the problem. What do you do when the oppressor doesn't see them as the oppressor and makes you the criminal? Makes you, this is your fault. The world is like this because of you. You live in slums because of you. You can't read because of you. We didn't do anything except keep you all down for 400 and 500 years, and go into your land and pillage and rape and come over here and did the same thing to Native Americans and indigenous people. And what do you do when the oppressor doesn't see themselves as the oppressor?
That's when you have to make sure that people are educated, because the oppressors can only oppress a mind that is weak. They like weak mind. Let's we gonna go there. White people love a weak-minded black person, or a black person that's easily led, or a black person that has no sense of themselves. Give you a prime example. Any black person that has ever been in the workplace in corporate America, who do they love?
They
They
love
don't
them.
like
No, go ahead.
which black people do they love in the workplace? You think they love somebody like me in the workplace that's articulate and intellectual, but also saying, hey, listen, I'm just as good as the rest of you. I'm going to work hard for what I want, and you're not going to treat me this way or this way? Or do they like the black man or the black woman that's, yes, sir, boss? She's a little militant. She's a little radical. Look at her social media. She doesn't like white people. Which one do they like? They like the one that caters to their white fragility, that doesn't make them feel threatened. That's one of the good ones.
And again, you're absolutely right because uh, I have been responding to some of the comments on our TikTok.
Okay.
And one person, he doesn't come off as hostile or anything like that. I mean, it's like he disagrees with me, I disagree with him, and we're having this discourse. But there are, a couple others who basically are not
Oh,
like
I've
that.
oh,
So
oh I've seen
you've
them.
seen them, whatever. But again, it's like
Yes, stay
they
tuned for
they
the
want to
drag videos.
consistently fast forward to now, but even now you cannot, things that Malcolm X said, even that Malcolm X did, he may not have agreed with Martin Luther King. They had two entirely different ways to go about things, but both of their ways were not wrong in terms of the end result was the person on the other side was still hostile. You all were still rude. You all were still spraying us with hoses, even though we're peaceful, whatever. You all still shows your ugly side.
Right. That's what, and make no mistake, I don't have a problem with interracial or anything of the such. But Malcolm was on the right track when he said, hey, you stay over there, we'll stay over here. Just give us the same resources that you give the white schools. You don't want our children to go to school with you? Fine. Give our children the same access to the same kind of resources that the white kids have. Give our black men and women the same resources that you give yourselves. We wouldn't have to come over there if they didn't do what they do today, which is gatekeep certain things from black men, women, and children. I mean, the man died in 65. Here we are in 2024 and nothing has changed. Imagine that. And I'm going to tell you why nothing has changed, because we got more Martin Luther Kings running around than Malcolm X's. They don't teach our children about Malcolm X because Malcolm X was, again, a rat. First of all, the man was Muslim. So in this Christian indoctrinating country, they are not going to teach our children about Malcolm X. Oh my God, he was a Muslim. They don't believe in Jesus, which is false, folks. Muslims believe in Jesus.
Okay, so having said that, I want to sneak in a video that I was going to sneak in next week,
Ah,
but
ah.
I think it's relevant to what we're talking about, and it's by one of my personal heroes. I've read all of his books many, many times, James Baldwin.
What is it you wanted me to reconcile myself to? I was born here almost 60 years ago. I'm not going to live another 60 years. You always told me it takes time. It has taken my father's time, my mother's time, my uncle's time, my brother's and my sister's time, my nieces and my nephew's time. How much time do you want for your progress?
Oh, I love it. How much time do you want for your progress?
So I do think that Martin Malcolm were saying the same thing. They just did it in a different way. But I think Malcolm was like, "Hey, dude, come on! We can't keep doing this peaceful stuff and kneeling and praying and stuff while they still hitting us over the head with batons and burning crosses in our yard and what have you. But again, when you tell white people this, it's like, well, if y'all would just be patient, but in the meanwhile, y'all need to stop burning down stuff like y'all did in 2020. See, 2020 is the only thing that they can go back to. They don't want to
Oh,
go.
yeah.
They don't want to go further back than that, because then they start, whatever. So, let me ask you this: what do you think Malcolm X would have said about the Boston Tea Party Part 2? What do you think he would have said about that?
Let me tell you something. If Malcolm was still living and he could see the Boston Tea Party, as we call it, Part 2, the what I call the Retrumplicans, Malcolm if Malcolm had lived to see all of this, I think that the state of black people would have been vastly different. He would have called them exactly what they were. He would have said, "Look at how." Best way I could say it. He would have said, "This is why we need to stay with our own." Because in the end, they show us exactly who they are. They tell us exactly who they are. Those those people at the office that you laugh with and you're chummy with, in the end, they're always going to tell you who they are, because a lot of these white men and women, they haven't deconstructed from their racism. See, what people don't read about or know about is that slave trauma is passed down, whether they know it or not, whether we know it or not. How we're always on our guard with white people, that's passed down. We really don't trust white people. We're always like, mm. I had this conversation with my brother that even when white people are being nice, we kind of side eye them. Like, you were nice to me, but are you gonna get in your car and call me the N word or a monkey? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
Malcolm would have reiterated, this is why we should stay with our own. This is why we should police our own cities. This is why we should have our own resources, our own schools, everything. If Malcolm could see what's going on right now, he would say, this is why we should we should be teaching our children. Don't send them to the oppressor, because look at what's going on right now. They're trying to whitewash they're trying to say that slavery was a good thing. Oh, well, they developed skills. This ain't Job Corps. This ain't a trade school. Solid.
You know, I have to, okay, I do have to question on when you say that things may be different if Malcolm had lived. You don't think that there's not one person who has kind of stepped into those shoes?
Oh, absolutely. So yes, that is
And
very
and
unfair.
and and would things really have been different considering how the white establishment is so ingrained in this country, not just this country, but across the globe? So would it really have been different? Would it have been different if Martin Luther King had lived? Would it have
I
really
think
been?
so.
Would it really have been? I mean, or would he just have been the same person who,
No, 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 because toward the end of his life, Martin Luther King, he said he led his people into a burning building of integration. He saw the light toward the end of his life, because he said, I've been teaching my people to be good and to turn the other cheek and so on and so forth. And these people are still doing the same thing. He said it. I led my people into a burning building of integration. Now that I respect him for.
okay, all right. And what Ace says, Black Americans thrive the most during segregation. Sad but true. But you know, Ace, you're absolutely right, and I still believe, even though our guest next week we disagree on this, I think that we can get back to that. But I know it's a coming together thing. But when we were thriving after slavery and we were separate and we were doing our best, white people saw that we don't need you to thrive. We don't need you to continually give us those handouts, because those handouts is what has kept us down. And they
I
don't
agree.
like to see the fact that we are able to prosper without you. Therefore, that's why they came and burned us out and did all that other stuff. Um, so, and Malcolm even said that. Uh, so let's take a listen to what he has to say.
That there will come a time when black people wake up and become
intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it.
Very, very valid
Very
point.
powerful. Very, very much so. I think of the time when Malcolm was killed, which was 1965. That's 20 years, or a little bit less than 20 years before the 1980s crack epidemic. Before black men started killing each other at record rates. Do you notice what they did right before then? They took out Malcolm, they took out Medgar, Malcolm, and Martin. All three civil rights leaders. But I think what hurts more with Malcolm is that it wasn't just black men that took him out. It was brothers from the Nation of Islam that took him out, and it was pure jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
It was jealousy, it was envy that caused Malcolm to lose his life.
Mm-hmm.
It was because he found out things about Elijah Muhammad that caused him to lose his life. He was powerful. Now, people always talk about Louis Farrakhan. The 7-year-old girl in me, even when he's right, I got my arms crossed like this. Because to me, you're forever going to be a hypocrite in my eyes. You killed this great man out of nothing but pure jealousy because you wanted that spot. And I'm just going to say this. You could believe me or not. Farrakhan is in his 80s, and he speaks the same way that Malcolm did. Malcolm would have been about in his 80s, 1925. No, Malcolm would have been.
He would have been, well, now he would have been 99. 1920,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Farrakhan is 10 years, is a few years, give or take, younger than Malcolm. How you make it out alive and ain't nobody else, but you speak the same rhetoric as Malcolm. How you make it out alive, but he did. And he was, and if we're going by math here, yeah, you should have been right out. You should have been right in line with the rest of them with what you were talking. But of course, you helped bring about the demise of this man. So yeah, they let you live. I look at Farrakhan like I look at white people.
Well, yeah, yeah, but you also have to look at Farrakhan like this. Farrakhan speaks a lot of rhetoric towards Jewish people. And yeah, I'm going to talk about the Jewish people because I'm still triggered by Julianne Margulies. I'm sorry. That woman has, I mean, I've listened to that. Anyway, that's a whole different podcast.
Malcolm X would have chewed her up too.
I mean, he'd
have chewed her up. He'd have chewed her up. He'd have said, how dare you? Yes, we are not going to deny that the Holocaust happened, that the Holocaust was horrible. We are not going to forget Auschwitz. But while we're not forgetting Auschwitz, y'all are telling us to move on from slavery. While you guys have not only come back tenfold from your oppression, we have continued to be oppressed. You guys run it all. Hell, they run this very app that we're on right now. They control it all. So how dare you say anything about black people, again, you should be quiet. Because again, I am from New Jersey. And guess what? Landlord tenant court is filled with Jewish landlords who will take the money of black people and take and take and take and have them living in some of the most destitute conditions, then
No,
have the
no.
nerve to take them.
It's called
Yeah,
it's
hey,
called
let her cook.
slum lords. It's called slum
Biggest slum
lords.
lord.
Yes, and I do believe Ivanka Trump's husband is one of the largest and biggest slum lords in New York.
Okay, yeah.
But okay, so see, you see, I know I went us over to Juliana Margulies, but we were talking about Farrakhan. But again, another video I was going to play next week because we're going to talk about this in depth. But it pertains again to the Jewish people and Malcolm and all this other stuff. So I'm gonna play this by another one of my favorites. You don't see Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. I love her.
To this gentleman, I would like to say to this gentleman and all other people who are not blessed with melanin at this point in time, to understand that what has happened in our history is that you have been misinformed as much as we have been misinformed. Much of the information that is brought forth, not only from Dr. Muhammad, but other areas, other scholars, are not available to you, as the sister said, in your curriculums that you have for 400 years when you did not allow us to read and write and was being hidden. Whether you, sir, personally did that or not, it was a legacy that was passed on to you. And I end by saying the Holocaust is simply the greatest atrocity on film. Ours was not filmed.
Yeah, damn it, that part.
I love Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. love her. But again, it's like, I think that Malcolm was saying what she just said. It's like, our stuff, it wasn't filmed. This is stuff that, y'all don't want to talk about. So we have to make sure that it stays in history, and we have to keep talking about it. We have to keep it in the forefront, and we have to keep it in the forefront of our children. They have to know what happened. Now, I do have a question about Malcolm.
Okay.
During civil rights, you didn't have, a lot of the name brand stuff. You didn't have, Gucci did exist. Louis Vuitton's been around forever. It's been around for hundreds of years, whatever. But you didn't see all this name stuff. You didn't see these celebrities running around, the Kanye's and all this other stuff running around, all this stuff, name brand stuff. How do you think Malcolm would see that now? Black people buying the Cristal, and all this other stuff, and just all this name stuff. How do you think that he would look at a Diddy or a Kanye or
they're bought and paid for?
Okay.
Kanye likes to talk about inequality, but then you turn around and marry a white woman. Make it make sense, bro. You left a black woman, and he ain't been right since he ain't been right since his mother passed away. Fine.
You know what? Stop. See, that's Andrea. I have to pull you. I have to pull you to. I'm sorry. I have to say this because I am so sick and tired of people talking about Kanye and his mother and how he hasn't been right since his mother passed. Well, let me tell you something. There are a lot of people who haven't been right since a mother or a father passed, but they don't go out and show their behind. And the only reason why Kanye gets the press, if he were not Kanye West, the celebrity, and he was just regular old Kanye Joe Blow, who hasn't been right since his mother died, no one would pay attention, no one would care, whatever. But there are a lot of people whose parents have passed and they have not been right.
How many of those people have mental illness? We're getting off topic, but I will say this: mental illness.
And you know what? And this is something that we can bring it.
Yeah, we can do this, but when you have a traumatic event happen to you, such as the death of your only parent, a mental break can happen.
Okay,
I'm not
hold
making
on.
excuses for him.
Okay, and I know people are going to jump on me for this, but I don't care. I don't care.
Oh, I don't defend Kanye.
I understand what you're saying, and I know we're getting off topic. We're gonna get back to
going
Malcolm.
back. We going back,
gonna
y'all.
get back to Malcolm, but you look at somebody like Mike Tyson, whose mentor, his manager that he had taught him, brought him up, took him out of the neighborhood, taught him how to fight, whatever. When he died, that's when a lot of his issues started him, when he started to act out, whatever. But people look at Mike Tyson like, oh my God, he did this and he did this, and oh my God, he doesn't get the same play that Kanye does. It's like other people have had mental breaks, celebrities. But with Kanye West, I'm sorry, I'm just tired of hearing about his mother, and because I think it's giving him an excuse to act out, and I think he uses that excuse. Well, people gonna feel sorry for me, so I'm going no.
Okay,
his
fair.
mental break did not make him go up on stage. And I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but for him to go up on stage and switch and snatch that award out of her hand, that was not him having a mental break at that moment. That was him being an ass.
Fair enough.
So anyway, back to Malcolm. Anyway, you go ahead.
I do think that Malcolm would have felt like these celebrities are bought and paid for, and how some of them behave. They are anti-black. I don't know how different we would have been. I do think we would have been different had our civil rights leaders, our strong ones, had not been stolen from us in the long run. Because Malcolm you heard him say, the black man will start thinking in the way of a black man. When you attack one black man, you'll be attacking all black men. And
so how do you think Malcolm? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how do you think Malcolm would have seen Boston Tea Party 2.0? Do you think there was like you just said, you attacked one black man, you gonna attack us all? Because that's basically what happened. You attacked one, and everybody came running. You were not going to do that.
I think that in addition to Boston Tea Party 2.0, the disrespect of the black woman wouldn't run as rampant as it does either. Because Muslims, they don't play that. True blue Muslims, they don't play when it comes to their women.
So, well, okay, we don't have to go there, because I do have a question.
Okay.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. And the only time a Muslim really gets real violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We will kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain, yes. We will kill you for our woman. We believe that if the white man will do whatever is necessary to see that his woman gets respect and protection, then you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and place the same penalty over the head of anyone who puts his filthy hands out to put in the direction of our women.
Okay, so my question is, where's Malcolm's replacement? Why is it that black men, some, not all, do not appear to be stepping up for black women?
Malcolm X was An activist, a radical, a husband, and a what? A father, right? And he preached fatherhood. You would hear now, back then, when family was a thing, you had men who took that to heart. This is my woman. This is my wife. She's carried my children, my legacy, my family. You don't have that now. The men of today, some, we know we have to be pedantic about it and say some, not all. We have some men that'll say, excuse my French, these bitches ain't worth protecting. She up there twerking, she's doing this, she's doing that. I ain't protecting her.
But you have the same men, and this is one reason why I have a problem with hip hop. You have these same men who will put the same twerking women in their videos and call them B's and H's, you know, whatever. So if you're disrespecting them just as much.
I agree.
You know, and I'm also going to say that when you do videos like that, and when you sing to that stuff and everything, to me, you're disrespecting your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your aunt, whatever. I'm sorry, I am old school. I just don't believe in
No.
And I mean, you know, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. And I find it sad. I just find it sad.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of Back That Ass Up by Juvenile.
I mean, seriously. I mean, you
know, because even the most Black woman, myself, we act up when Back That Ass comes on. We make our I'm not even BSing. We make ourselves look bad when that song comes on. You know, we'll be sitting there. Well, I studied for 5 years at Harvard, you know, and I got my law degree, cash money. We just act out. It's like it's a switch.
I mean, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't get it because it's like on one hand you want the respect from over here, and then you're gonna act like that over there. It just doesn't make sense.
No, and you know what? It's so hard to defend when you have the sexy reds out there. My booty hole brown. It's something that's very, very disgusting. I heard, what is it called? Ski hands on my knees. Yeah, not suitable for children. Not suitable for adults, really. But how do you defend that? How do you defend?
This is what I'm saying. I mean, it just, you know, you want to raise your sons to be respectful people, right. Whatever. I personally think I've done a wonderful job with mine. And I'm sorry, he's not going to. He's just not, because, and he'll even say it. That's not respectful, you know. And when people, I'm sorry. So when the white establishment, when they start talking about us, we want to get offended, but we're doing that stuff. So,
and look what H just said. Why do my 6th grade scholars listen to her and love her just because she's from this area? Now, it's a video that's viral with little girls. They can't be more than 5 years old, singing Hands on Your Knees, and they over there. And I'm like, okay, this is our youth. This is our future. Here's the thing. And this is what Malcolm said. A mother has to be very careful what she teaches her child, because what you teach your child takes out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, some of these men are not going to respect how do you respect a woman that's teaching her 5-year-old hands on your knees, ski ye. You know, if you've ever heard, and I've only heard 2 of her songs and I'm still traumatized.
Well,
But that's the message that we're sending out, that you don't value yourself. So nobody else is going to value you.
okay, so let me ask this then. Some Black people are sending out messages like that, and you have some white people who are sending out messages like, Black people are this, the N word, they use it in their home, you know, whatever. The Klan, white nationalists, whatever they're teaching their children, whatever. Is there a
Right.
difference? Is there a difference from them teaching their children racism and us teaching our children how to disrespect ourselves and disrespect each other?
It is. And I'll tell you how. They're teaching their children that they are superior, that no matter how messed up they are, no matter how poor you are, no matter what, you are better than them because you are white. You are the blueprint, you are the default setting. That's the difference. We don't teach our
But
kids
are
that.
we okay? But are we teaching our children? They're teaching their kids that they're superior. Are we teaching our kids? You know what? You are the stereotype. You are exactly what they say. So you go out there and you twerk at 5 years old, and y'all go and do this stuff with this music and back up to it, all this other stuff. But we are going to prove them right, because the stereotypes that they created for us, let's make sure that we enforce it.
Yeah, we are actually. It's
So
actually it's very
to me, there's no difference.
I didn't. I said that they're teaching their children to be
Right,
superior to ours.
right.
We're not teaching our kids. We're not teaching our kids that.
No,
You're saying
no, but we're
it's
teaching.
It's kind of like saying, oh, they feel like you're gonna do it anyway, so just go ahead and do it. They're going to judge you. That's how they feel about us, no matter who you are, no matter what you do. Come on, Solid. You and I are both educated women. We can run circles around a lot of white people.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
in the end, what do they think of you and I?
Well, they still think that we are the N word. I mean, plain
Right.
and simple.
Right. That's what they think. But me, I'm like, oh, well, let's sit down and have a talk and let me annihilate you verbally and make you question your whole existence. Because it's fun.
So, if Malcolm was on our show right now, what is the one question that you would ask him?
Are you proud of us as a people?
Okay.
Are you proud that we have, despite the oppression and despite the fact that they keep pushing the finish line further and further away, that here in 2024, we have Black people in Congress, we had a Black president, we have Black business owners, Black homeowners, Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black astronauts, Black neurosurgeons, Black, Black, Black. And are you proud that despite it all, despite our nonsense within our own community, we still rise? Because stumbling is not falling. I would hope that Malcolm X is proud of where we are thus far. And where does he think we are going as a people? Solid.
See, I think he would be disappointed.
Well, damn, Solid. I
understand that, but I mean, and I'm not just within our own race, but I think that he would be disappointed just at the whole thing, because yes, we do have Black people, and they're in Washington, and mayors and congressmen. We had a Black president, but it's not enough. When you look at how many of them compared to how many of us, it's not enough. And I think that he would look at where we are today as a people, and he would shake his head, because while we have come forward in terms of, yes, we became president, yes, we're the mayor, yes, we're the governor, all this other stuff, but as a people, we haven't moved forward. We've moved back. That's just what I think. So my last question to you is, if Malcolm were here today, as a ghost, as a spirit, what question would you ask him?
Then you just, as a ghost or a spirit?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Uh, I guess I would ask
Because
him where he thinks we're going.
okay,
Where do you where do you
because
think we're going? Where do you think we'll be in 20 years? Do you think that
okay,
we'll be better as a people or worse?
okay, because see, my question to him would have been, had you lived, did you anticipate what is here now, what you're witnessing right now? Had you lived, would you have foretold this? Would you have seen this? Because
Okay.
I think the country is a mess.
Our community is a mess.
Our community is a mess, but at the same time, I think the white community is also a mess. So,
And they're a
but
mess, honestly, because because there are a few of them who are breaking out of their racial mindset. They're deconstructing, and while there are while there isn't the majority of them deconstructing, it's kind of like
Dread, you are muted. Did you accidentally hit a button? Okay, let's see. Oh boy, Marlon's our monitor is over there laughing. Oh goodness gracious!
That's all right. How about now?
Yes.
I don't. This is a conspiracy, and I believe that it's because I'm light skinned. Last week, my Wi-Fi goes out. This week, my audio goes out. This is not fair. Okay, I apologize once again, people.
Well, we missed a lot of what you said. So can you just kind of summarize?
Girl, I forgot.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, again, I wish Malcolm had lived. But I will say I will say this, and you can take us out with this or however you want to respond. I think all of us, all Black people, no matter what your celebrity is, no matter how much money you have or don't have, I think we all have targets on our back.
I don't have to finish with that. You finished it for me. Thank you all for being here this Saturday with us. Please pay homage to Malcolm X, Nat Turner, Khalid Abdul Muhammad. These are the Black men that they don't teach our children about because they want our children to remain docile. And also, I am not going to tell, but next week is this lady's birthday. Okay. So, yeah,
It is
I haven't
not.
really,
It is not next week. My birthday is not next Saturday, so that's not true.
I didn't say next Saturday. I said next week. So that means from Monday to Friday. I wasn't going to tell the people your birthday. That's between me and you. But this lady's birthday is coming up. So show her some love. She's a great woman. I appreciate being in her company. I appreciate her inviting little old me to be a co-host on the show. So yeah, a real one is about to make another trek around the sun. So please show my girls, my sister from another mister, show her some love because her birthday is coming up. She works very hard to make this show what it is, even harassing me at 3:00 in the morning while I'm at work, because she doesn't sleep, y'all. She don't sleep. One of the most hardworking women I know. She's having a birthday. Thank you guys for being here.
All right, everybody. So we'll see y'all next week. Peace.